Tonight, key Republicans are pushing the White House to come up with a more coherent defense strategy, one day after members of their party barged into that impeachment inquiry deposition, demanding House Democrats stop holding hearings behind closed doors.
By golly, if they're going to do it in public. Don't hide it from the American people.
Lindsey Graham tonight saying he's spoken to the White House chief of staff, who told him they're working on getting a messaging team together. President Trump's praising the protest, tweeting thank you to House Republicans for being tough, smart, and understanding in detail the greatest witch hunt in American history. 47 House Republicans already have access to those closed-door sessions, including the explosive testimony by the top diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, who contradicted President Trump's assertions that there was no quid pro quo.
We have a confession, we have a crime, we have a cover-up in progress, but he's going to get a fairer process than he deserves.
And Democrats argue Republicans are just trying to distract from Taylor's testimony.
Usually when you have no substantive argument to make, you try to get a headline arguing against process or getting attention.
House Republicans in the past have defended the value of closed-door hearings, like during the Benghazi investigation.
The private ones always produce better results.
Republican Peter King tonight calling for his party to sharpen its pushback.
I think they'd be better advised to say there's nothing there that's at all impeachable, there's nothing there that's at all criminal, there's nothing there that comes close to a constitutional standard of being wrong.
Despite the criticism tonight, House Democrats are moving forward with more closed-door hearings beginning this weekend, while Senate Republicans today introduced a resolution demanding Democrats hold a full House vote on impeachment.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.